We're on. I was caught by surprise. Didn't expect to be on. Yeah, I had to get rid of the bridge, honestly, after the... I was caught by surprise. Shut up, V. I don't want to hear myself. The worst thing possible in this world is hearing your own voice. Do you understand how difficult my job is? Because I have to rewatch my videos to see if they're recorded properly. And every single time I hear my own voice, I cringe. I don't know how you guys manage to deal with it. But as I was saying, I got rid of the bridge because ever since the Chikifuji Lisa accident, my heart is throbbing. I don't know if anything is going to be considered reused content. So I'm getting rid of the most amount of content that's reusable as possible. Yeah, also my brain is a little bit melted. Rosa Coatl is here for Tifa. Okay. Well, usually I spend a little bit more warming people up before getting into the meat of the subject. But do you guys remember when Tifa was shown in the Italian parliament? Are you aware of it, Rosa? Was, I believe, last year. So, last year, I want you guys to close your eyes and imagine, because I can't show this on YouTube. It's a little bit problematic. But, imagine like some old people, right? Like the lawmakers. And they're not in the parliament because the pandemic. So, they're live streaming the event. And at one point, a person who's live streaming the event shows Tifa involved into some, how should I put it so Susan doesn't get upset, extracurricular activities. Like, she was sitting on the bed, breathing heavily. A man was behind her, doing a back and forward motion. And everyone in the parliament could see that. Yeah, it was an amazing chest of wonders, let's put it like that. So, how can I picture this so you guys can understand? Like, imagine like some old lady squinting her eyes trying to see what she's looking at. Like, she was doing her best in order to capture what was going on the screen. And today, I saw some really good cosplay of it. I saw something that I thought you guys should see, and it's why the stream has the name. Let me see if I can find it. Naruhodo. Here we go. I gotta say though, like, the cosplay is so freaking perfect. I mean, this is the last thing Netflix would cast as Tifa. I'm looking at it and I'm like, no fucking way. Like, dude, if this girl would walk past me on the street, I would just... Is that Tifa? I mean, this is the most perfect cosplay that I have seen in a while. So, she says, did we go in front of the actual Italian Senate to shoot this? The answer is yes. Did people think I was an actual politician doing serious shooting? The answer is also yes. Thanks to Giacomo F. for this hilarious idea for shooting these super cool pictures. It was both embarrassing and funny to create this project. I'm super satisfied. I mean... Dude, it was breathtaking. Like, when I saw it, it's not like just the joke of it. But it's also the fact that the cosplay is so spot on. I mean, it's photoshopped, I guess. I don't think a person can look like this. I do think, like, there's some photoshopped involved because... Jesus Christ. Like, how can you cosplay this well? What is her suspenders? Well, look. Women can dress differently. I know this is shocking. But women do have different attires. So they can choose not to wear those suspenders that day. I mean, she is a member of the Italian parliament, after all. She gotta dress properly. She's gotta dress like she's going for business. Yeah, no, like, honestly, I think there's Photoshop. Because as Rosa said it, like, if that woman would walk past me on the street, I would just go like, hold on a little bit. Like that. That seems like a glitch. That seems like a bug. Anyway, let me show you something else that's funny. Moving on to the next topic. I have this and I don't know what to make of it. They had babies. I want them all to be white. You know, with the Twitter's next terms of service, I looked at them. It's going to be today's video on my main channel. All I'm saying is, like, those memes don't have to stay dreams. Let me see if I can actually have the entire video where she talks about the sheep. Ah, here we go. Yeah. Koronoe, what are you doing? Does the ADL know about Koronoe shenanigans? Hold on. I think I found it.
Yeah. Oide. Oide.
Here we go. Here we go.
真っ白けっけのがいいな。真っ白けっけのがいいな。
Koronoe, nani?
キュート。
Nani? Koronoe, nani? They had babies. I want them all to be Koronoe. Do you know why she wants them to be white? She wants them to be white because you can paint on white wool, right? You can paint the rainbow flag on it. That's why she wants them all to be white. It's easier to paint over it. Like if they're of different color, of different coloration, then you can't paint the rainbow properly. So yeah, all I'm saying is that those 14 words aren't going to speak themselves, right, Koronoe? You racist asshole. We'll see when the Twitter terms of service changes. We're going to see Koronoe stop hiding her power level. She might actually start dropping a couple of gamer words there while playing Minecraft. But actually, no, like that is VTuber eugenics if you think about it, because like it is selective breeding that she's doing that. Like she is looking for a specific trait among those sheep. Context, yes, sure, why not? VTuber, I hope you're okay with him being political. No, Rosa left the chat. Like she's not here. Don't you see that Rosa immediately became quiet? Like her little pucker went whoop. Not touching this with a 10-foot pole. Koronoe doing her best impression of Shinzo Abe. It is kind of funny though, like she was hurting the ship. You know, like speaking of VTubers, aren't VTubing companies just like animal zoos? Because you got like all the VTuber talents and all of them are like a specific animal. So if you put them together, wouldn't that make like a petting zoo or something? No. See, I see someone in the chat saying that I've been doing political stuff for a while. My VTuber stuff is new. No. It's the other way around, okay? Like, this is the first time that I talk about politics. I don't know anything about politics. If anyone wants to teach me, I'm willing to learn. I'm going to start watching Vosh every day. Because, you know, like, VTubers, they're all representations of animals. Like, you got Koronoe, like, right? She's a doggo. You got Gura, she's a shark. And then you got Vosh, and he likes horses. So, like, the transition shouldn't be that hard for me. But hopefully, I'm going to learn a lot about politics from him so I can tell you guys about politics. My God, V, what's up with your streaming time? Look, my sleeping schedule is way off. So, I go to bed at around 12 p.m. And I wake up at around 6 p.m. And then, I don't have anything to do all night while my wife is sleeping. But what can I do? You know, it is what it is. I'm going to try to force myself, though, to stay awake all day and go to sleep at around 7 or 8 p.m. And hopefully that will fix my sleeping schedule. Yes, I did talk about Tifa. I'm sorry if you missed it. You gotta scroll back to the beginning. Like, move the little red line all the way back. Yeah. Please stop being political. Oh my fucking God. I'm sorry, manager. You know what? Coconut Tackle is my manager from now on. All VTubers need to have one, right? So... I'll stop being political because you asked. Now, some of you want it, like I got bombarded, by the way, today with a lot of DMs from people asking me if I seen Pipa's stream because she's talking about dropping hints. Sorry, not talking about, dropping hints about the Face Connect house. So Face Connect is planning to have like this house where they're going to have this streaming thing going on. So like, let me get this straight. Like putting, what, like 5, 7 women all striving for attention in the same place is not a recipe for a disaster? It is, but I think this is why the Fishman does it. Because it's like good content, you know? Like, but this is real live streaming. Like real live streaming is good content. Not so sure how it is for the streamers themselves. Like there's a lot of shit that's happening behind the cameras. Now, have there been 1 or 2 instances where it worked? Maybe. I'm not aware of any. Like, people told me that HoloLive had something similar with Coco. Coco graduated, didn't she? But, like, the thing is, like, I guess I'm hoping it works. But I am saying it's like, I wouldn't want to live in such a place if I was in the shoes of any of those talents. I mean, imagine, just imagine the possibility when one of them brings the boyfriend. You know, I know that all VTubers are single, like 90% of the VTubers are single, but I refuse to believe that they're nuns. Like, I operate on the other end of the spectrum, that every single VTuber does have a boyfriend. The question isn't like, do they have a boyfriend or not? The question should be, are they married or not? You know, like, that would be a question. But, like, yeah. So, like, you have all these women in a house. Maybe, like, they get visitation or something like that. I don't even know how it works. But even with that aside, you know, like, all jokes aside, you also have the egos clashing and the different personality traits. You got, I mean, I lived in a house with more people. Like, one person wants to do some late night streaming, and another person wants to sleep, and then there's noise, and who gets to clean and who doesn't. You know, like, there's a lot of these arguments that can spark. But again, you know, I guess for me, it's good entertaining. I hope it happens. Like, I want to see it. I want to laugh. Hey V, what's up? Nothing, Gabak. Just talking about VTubing stuff before moving on to other things. Is Fishman going to procure the Tsunderia releases? So, I looked at some of the talent that didn't survive the Tsunderia carnage and the carnage of April 25th. And I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, you get their models, I guess, if you get them into your agency. But other than that, like, no one managed to... I don't want to talk bad things about people, right? But, like, their content wasn't out of the ordinary. Like, it wasn't feeling a niche. Let's put it like that. I'm not saying they're bad or anything. Like, I'm sure they have their own fan base, and they're probably going to do well. But if I was an investor, like, if I was trying to get new talent into a company... and I would have to sign contracts and stuff, like, I would try to get people that fill a niche, like something that you don't already have. But, you know, like, I'm not Fishman. So basically my assessment is, like, no, he's probably not going to get any of the Tsunderia girls that didn't survive the carnage. They are all 40-year-old women. I don't think they can do the voices if they're that old. Coco streams as Kson now. Yeah, I know, like, Kson on air. I really like her model. Like, she's probably the only VTuber that modeled herself. And I'm thinking, like, okay, but at that point, why are you a VTuber? Like, why not just do normal streaming? Like, Coco is literally one of the people that can actually do streaming without needing an avatar. But I guess, like, the advantage is you don't have to put makeup. I'm telling you, like, when I'm doing this troll thing, I don't have to comb my hair. I can just wake up and just go streaming. If I have an idea, I just do it. And no one gets distracted by what's in the background or anything like that. So there's advantages, I guess. Plus, like, if you're a woman and you're doing that type of streaming like Coco does, when the cellulitis starts rearing in, the VTube avatar protects you from that. So I guess that's another advantage. She even streams live without an avatar. She's pretty cute and buxom. No way she doesn't have a boyfriend with looks like that. Yeah, okay, so I'm not being mean or anything, alright? Like, I'm not dissing on the face connect girls. What I want to say is that you as a person, alright? If you like a streamer that's a woman, you should only give her money if and only if you like the content. But there are people who legitimately think that they might have a chance, like some parasocial relation type of shit. And if that's the case, like, you're delusional. Every single woman online that has the confidence to put herself up there, to appear in front of hundreds of people, or in the case of, for example, Xan on Air, like 10,000 people, she has a boyfriend, okay? Like, 100% guaranteed she's got a boyfriend. And in the unlikely event that she hasn't, let's say that she just broke up, there are probably 20 or 25 guys lined up that she's interested in. So like, this whole idea, I mean, I find it bizarre that for some reason, like, people want to hook up with VTubers. Like, you don't even know how the person looks like in real life. Like, maybe they have a crooked eye or some shit, you know? But like, going besides the looks and just talking about the possibility, like, okay, you wanna date a VTuber or whatever. What makes you think that they're not already in a relationship? Like, why do you assume that? Why is that your assumption that they're single? And even if they are, like, look at all the VTubers out there. 90% of them are single. Like, really? 90% of them? Like, how is that possible? Like, statistically, it's impossible for that to happen. They're funny women, they're charismatic. If they manage to have an audience, why would they be single? And by the way, like, this goes quadruple for e-girls. Like, if you go on Twitch and you see an Ushikushi lady, like, to me, it baffled my brain when people found out that Pokemon has a boyfriend and they were crying and they were leaving the streams and stuff. Why are you that daft? Like, of course she's got a boyfriend. Like, look how she looks. Look how she looks. Like, what do you think? If she didn't have a boyfriend, I would assume that there's something seriously wrong with her. Like, maybe she's a psychopath or something and drugs men and takes them down to the basement where she hacks them up or something. It doesn't make any sense why people assume that these ladies are single. I mean, even with the men, okay? Like, every man streamer that has more than, like, 500 people watching, they have a girlfriend. Darkside Phil has a girlfriend. Let that fucking sink in. Darkside Phil has a girlfriend. Why does he have a girlfriend? Because he's a streamer. Do you think he would have a girlfriend or a wife or whatever if he wasn't streaming? And didn't you see how quickly he changes them? Like, people change beer bottles. Why? Because he's a streamer. Like, the law of averages work in your favor. When you have more than 10,000 subscribers, one of them, like at least 1% of them are going to be women, and 1% of that 1% is probably going to contact you. So, when you just happen to know so many people, even though you personally don't know them, right? Because, like, I don't know my 150,000 subscribers. I wish I did, but I know some of them, but I can't know all of 150,000. But they know me, right? Because they're subscribed to me, so they watch my content. They know something about me. So all these people, like 150,000 people know you. Out of them, some will be women, and out of those women, some will try to contact you and DM you and talk to you. So, now imagine that if that's for a guy, okay? Like, that's what a guy like Darkside Phil experiences. Now imagine you're a girl. Imagine you're a woman. And you look hot. And you're charismatic. Alright? Imagine how many of those guys are going to contact you. It's insane. Like, again, I don't understand what's wrong with people. Like, why would they assume that just because it's a girl on the internet, she has to be single? Like, you need to assume the opposite. Sargon got mad when I got married. See, that's a lore that I didn't know of. Is this parasocial? It fucking is. Lotus Eaters complained about the 4 billion aid to Ukraine within the second Lend-Lease. I wonder if they would have complained about the 1941 about the first Lend-Lease. I'm a VTuber. I'm a troll. I don't want to talk politics right now. I already talked about Tifa. I guess I can talk about her at the end of the stream because it doesn't take that much. I mean, what can I say? You know, I'll just say this about the Lotus, and then we'll move on. Simply because I got a super chat, so I need to be nice. It was a fat super chat. Thank you, Alexander. From the point of view of people in the US, they don't understand why the gas prices are going up. They don't understand why their cost of living is going up. And it's very difficult to explain that shit to them. That's pretty much the explanation. And I don't think like the situation is comparable to 1941. I mean, that was a world war, wasn't it? Right? And the US was part of it. Now, again, it's a difficult sell. I am bordering Russia. For me, it's not a difficult sell. Like for Romanians, yeah, it is different. We don't want to neighbor Russia. Just like Russia doesn't want to neighbor NATO, we don't want to neighbor it. So we don't care about the lore, we don't care about the story, like it's just geopolitical. So for us, it's different. But for an American, I can understand why it's difficult to explain it to him. Anyway, moving back. Back to business. If it's parasocial. So here's what I think, right? There are most men that can just look at the content of a VTuber or whatever and not get attached. Or if they get attached, like maybe they get like some, normal, healthy level of attachment. Like the same way you get attached to Darkside Phil when watching his content. It's like, okay, well, this is a good content creator. I like his stuff. I want to watch more of it. But then there are the men that legitimately fall in love with the avatar. And I think it's also due to the fact that men are visual creatures. So if they visualize something they like, they get an affection towards it. Now, I think that this is a small percentage of men, but it's kind of like there are men who gamble, and out of them, a small percentage of them develop a gamble addiction. And it's kind of the same, like there's men that watch VTubers, and a small percentage of them that actually get addicted and they fall in love with whatever parasocial shit we're talking about. And it's those that, I genuinely don't understand, because like, okay, you want some female companionship, fine, I can understand. Go and get a prostitute. Like, pay a prostitute and solve your problem. You can literally see my feet, Unlike other VTubers, you can literally see my feet. I don't know why you're asking for them. But yeah, so get a prostitute. If you're at that point where, like, an anime avatar is making your heart throb and you can't sleep at night because you're thinking about your favorite waifu. Now, you may say, well, okay, but I don't want a prostitute because there's stigma attached. Listen, all right, I gave you this advice before and I'll do it again. Join a Facebook group. Like, find something in your city that you like, whether it's board games or anime or whatever. Like, find something on Facebook that's got that thing. And then join it and look at the women there. And you're going to find some women that share your likes. I mean, you go to their likes, you get to see what they like, you get to the music, like look what music, what TV show. And when you find one that you like and you have things in common, talk to her. Alright, now talking to her gives you more of a chance of solidifying something than giving money to an e-girl that you like. Alright, like giving money to Amrath, giving her tens of thousands of dollars is not going to get her your attention. But doing what I just said has a higher likely chance of you, like, first of all, you get that attention that you crave, like you really want to have some companionship, like some female attention, I guess, like if you're that desperate and you're salivating on Twitch. And on the second thing, it's like, you might actually get her to go out with her. Like, there is the possibility that you might convince her to go out on a date with you. You will never convince Amaranth to go on a date with you. You're never going to convince Amelia Watson to go on a date with you. So that, yeah, exactly. Like, I see people in the chat saying that's how they did it during college. I mean, that's how I got my wife. It works. I joined the Facebook group of my university. And there was a symposium, like a medical symposium, where students could volunteer to go and present various papers and stuff. And I noticed that she was presenting a similar paper that I used to do when I was in her year. And that's how I met her. It's like, oh, so you're going there? And I was like, okay, well, I'm going there as well. And we met at the event. But yeah, like, I use Facebook, so I didn't use Tinder. I did not have the opportunity to meet women in a bar. I think that's a little bit extra difficulty level. I don't know, like going into a bar, right, where I guess like usually women they're surrounded by their friends, so there's like probably like 10 or 15 women at the table. You don't know anything about them, and you just go to one and you have to start a conversation. Like, I can't do that. You know, there's other men who can, but I can't. But like that's okay, because we live in the age of technology. Like, you can use technology in order to find other ways. And Facebook groups, in my opinion, it's a lot better than OkCupid or whatever the fuck you're using. Yeah, that's also a nice one. Like, hey babe, did you hear about Pipkin Pippa? But like, I'm pretty sure there's a VTube Facebook group somewhere, and you can join that, and you can find women that are there, and you can ask them, you know, like, oh, did you hear about Pipkin Pippa? It can work. Hopefully she didn't, because if she did, she's going to think you're weird for listening to her. But still, it's a start. Bars are the most difficult. Probably, I mean, like, you get a lot of competition. I guess, like, women already expect that creeps are going to hit on them. They're also next to their girlfriend, so, like, even if she likes you, she's going to think, but okay, but do my girlfriends like him? Because, like, they don't want to be seen with someone that would be socially considered as below her league or whatever. So, like, yeah, it's very difficult to do it in bars. There are men who can. I'm not one of them. And again, like, the good news is that you don't have to. Like, there's other places that allow us to be because of technology. Oh, yeah, like, if you find a woman that knows and likes Pipa, stay away from her, because she's probably a schizo, so. One more fat super chat. I miss your political content. In these ugly times, you are the only right-leaning YouTuber with sane takes. I hate to watch leftists. Please do politics from time to time. Alexander! I have a main channel. I do politics there. And on top of that, I do talk about politics on this stream. It's just not every time. Like, sometimes I just want to chill off. Right now, my brain is melted. Like, I haven't slept last night. I'm trying to keep myself awake until 6 or 7 p.m. And I just can't talk politics. In fact, I can't even have a coherent sentence right now, which is why I have 97 viewers. Speaking of which, I think there's some shit going on at YouTube. Like, Quartering talked about it on Twitter as well. The algorithm is out of whack. Like, I noticed Pippa, since she's on the topic, like, she had 200 people when she was streaming on YouTube. And then she goes on Twitch, and she's got like 500 people on Twitch. And then she starts streaming on YouTube again, and I was like, okay, well, now that she's going to go on YouTube, she's going to bring all the subs, right? No, back to 200. And it makes no fucking sense, because, like, the streams were like 5 or 10 minutes between each other, so something is happening. Either Twitch is inflating the numbers, which is a possibility, or, like, I think that what's happening is that people don't get the notification. I have a lot of people that say, hey, V, I'm not getting the notification. So, this doesn't explain, like, why is it that when Pippa was streaming on Twitch, she's getting, like, constant 500 subs, and when she goes on YouTube, she's getting down to 200. I mean, I refuse to believe that there's people who only watch Twitch, and they would not open a... Because, like, if you watch the streamer, right, and you know, like, the streamer is tweeting in another place, like, you would follow them. And it doesn't make sense, like, when you do the back and forth, like, why are they following you? People don't want all the platform fragmentation. Yeah, but, like, it would make sense if she would have had less people on Twitch. Because, like, if she's on YouTube and she's getting 200, right? And then she goes on Twitch and she's now having 500. Like, it doesn't explain the platform fragmentation aspect. I mean, she's coming from YouTube to Twitch. She's not a Twitch streamer and she's coming to YouTube. Because if that was the case, I would have understood the platform fragmentation. But no. Notifications are just hard for some reason. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like YouTube just wants you to see shit that you're not interested in. It used to be that I would just constantly get the channels I'm subscribed to, so I would watch, like, hey, here's a Stick Sex and Hammer video, and I'm watching it, and then it's like, oh, here's a Sargon video, and I'm watching it, and then it's like, oh, look, it's a Gundam posted something. And I would be trapped on the platform for 4 hours because of the YouTube algorithm, just watching the stuff I'm subscribed to. But now I get documentaries, like a lot of documentaries, and I'm like, but I don't want to watch them. I mean, documentaries are fun and everything, but, like, It's not the type of content that I came here to see. I want to see the independent content creators, not the corporate bullshit. Most people, especially VTubers, enjoy both platforms. I mean, yeah, I guess. I would hate to use Twitch. Like, the thing with Twitch is that you gotta police your own chat. So if chat that drops power word Nagash, you're held responsible. You can get banned for what your chat is saying. So imagine like me having to stay with one eye open constantly towards the chat just to see if chat didn't say something naughty. And even if the chat says something like something remotely controversial, like a South Park joke, I mean, do I ban it or not? If I ban it, then chat gets upset because I'm being too strict and I'm allowing no fun to happen. And if I don't ban it, then I have to be afraid that the Twitch admins are going to come after me. I'm not giving you wrench, man. You need to earn it. You're experiencing the great wrench reset. There was a inflation of wrenches. I had to tone it down. Never be a capo? Like, what the fuck does that even mean? Because I know a lot of YouTubers, you know, like being a capo is something that fans use as a analogy, but like YouTubers themselves don't use these words. I guess like a capo, if you're talking about like trying to hover around the bigger content creator in the hope that some subscribers would fall down. Yeah, I guess that happens, but I mean, sometimes it's a good thing, sometimes it's a bad thing. Like, this goes outside of life advice, and this goes into, like, business advice, right? So, gravitating around bigger subscribers is something that a lot of people do because the algorithm doesn't allow you to grow any other way. But my advice, like, if you're a content creator and you want to do that, like, do it towards someone that you're genuinely a friend of, like, some person that you genuinely appreciate. And you're not doing it just to get clout and numbers, but you're legitimately doing it because you're friends with that person. And then you're going to notice that not only you're having fun, right? Because like you like to hang out with the person, but you're also like doing good business because, well, I mean, everyone grows that way, right? Like the person that you're gravitating around is probably gravitating around someone else. The only person that's not gravitating around anyone is probably PewDiePie and Vosh, because he gets boosted by the algorithm. But yeah, I mean, this is how YouTube works now, right? There's no shame in it. Every single person, like, finds someone that's bigger and just hovers around them. Just, you know, like, tries to get their attention, talks to them on Twitter, in order to get some of that clout. And the reason there's no shame is because the person you're gravitating is gravitating around someone else. It's just the way it works. V, you are underrated because of your association with the skeptics. I mean, do I really want people that don't like the skeptics to gravitate around me? I don't know. I mean, the TOS of... Like, I personally don't have a problem with them, but the TOS of YouTube does. I mean, if I were to have people that are spamming edgy shit in my chat, that would be difficult, you know? I don't care. I mean, my association with the skeptic... Like, first of all, there was no skeptics as in, like, a tight group or anything like that. It was just, like, a group of loosely affiliated channels that posted similar content and played Dungeons and Dragons with each other. Like, out of all the skeptics that I was hanging out with were the people that I played D&D with. But other than that, like, the content that I have is things that I legitimately believe in. Like, I don't have content that... I disagree with and I push just because I think it's going to get a good reaction out of the chat. And I also didn't have like videos that were like, oh wow, this video is going to... Like, I really believe in this thing, but I don't want to talk about it because my chat won't like it. I mean, I know YouTubers who do that, and honestly, I think it's... I mean, it shows. Look, it shows that you're fake, and people don't really react well to that. Both are true. Twitch inflates numbers and I almost never get notifications about your streams. Oh, well, now the mystery has been solved. Yeah, I do think, like, Twitch inflates the numbers because, and hello, Artemis Foul, I see you. The reason they inflate the number is to make it seem like you're doing well, so you can go on their platform. That's why Twitch is doing it. But secondly, I think like the offsite ban thing is like, the more you get platforms that sanitize their platform and don't allow fun, the more like competitors start getting more views, right? I mean, if I were to be unable to do my own show because like YouTube is very censorious, I would probably consider going somewhere else. So the off-platform behavior is to make sure that the content creators aren't allowed to be edgy somewhere else. Because like you can go on, let's say, Rumble, right? And do the same shit that you did in 2016. You're edgy, you're cracking all the jokes. But you're afraid. Why? Because Rumble is a small platform. Like, it's still growing, but it's small. And you can get banned from your main source of income. So it's to prevent content creators from moving to other platforms. That's why the off-site ban exists. It doesn't exist because they legitimately give a shit like what people do outside their platform, right? It exists to keep their content creators in check. Yeah, they pretty much like want power over their creators. The skeptics are all leftists now, except Sargon being a boomercon. So, let's see. I mean, it depends who you consider to be a skeptic. But Arch isn't... Arch, is he a skeptic? I don't know. He's definitely a right-winger. Short Fat Otaku is right-wing as much as Canada allows him to be. Who else was a skeptic? Like Kraut? I think Kraut is right-wing. I don't think Kraut is leftist. I haven't heard his political takes in years, but I know he does a channel where he talks about politics and stuff. Which one of the skeptics is a left-leaning person? I don't know. I'm pretty sure like some of the... Unless you're talking about the skeptics, as in Shuan Head and Armored Skeptic. Like maybe they are left-leaning. Arch isn't a skeptic. I don't know. We played D&D with him. Does it count? Like, he has political takes that are literally the same like mine and Sargon, so... Short Fat Otaku is kind of woke. Yeah, but like, he's Canadian. You gotta take the culture into consideration. For a Canadian, he's pretty right-wing. Kraut is a lefty. That's kind of new. I didn't know that. Does he believe in identity politics? Is he like, Is he against the Supreme Court decision? Is he like, no, Roe v. Wade? Yeah, Wesley is actually a good example of someone who's a leftist, yes. The thing is, like, Short Fat Otaku always... Like, here's another thing, you know, like, me, Sargon, Short Fat Otaku, all these people, we were very upfront on the fact that we are leftists. Now, the thing is, like, if I was pro-gay marriage... atheist, pro healthcare and free education back in 2012, I would have been considered left wing as fuck. Like back then, that was incredibly left wing, especially if you're pro peace, right? But now, if you're not into identity politics, if you don't believe, if you can't define what a woman is, if you can't do all of that, then you're not a leftist. Like the purity spiral. On Twitter, at least, is literally, do you believe trans women are women? And if you answer no, you can't be a leftist. Okay, so J.K. Rowling is not a leftist. It's really like that. So, I don't know. I mean, the reason people consider us right-wing is simply because of the cultural shift. But we always identified as left-wing. I mean, I'm not for deregulating all the businesses and... Like there's a lot of right-wing stances that I don't have. Like, for example, religion is another one. Like, I'm an atheist. I can never be religious. But now, like, the right wing, that I guess it's on defensive, they are allowing people to join that before wouldn't be allowed. Like, in 2012, if you were gay, you probably wouldn't be able to join a right-wing organization. Like, they would ostracize you, right? Like, they will say, no, sorry. Or if you are an atheist, like a hardcore atheist, they would probably be like, oh, so you're some sort of Marxist. But like times have changed, okay? Things are different now. You can be gay and you can be right-wing and accepted by right-wing groups. And you can be atheist in the same. Yeah, literally, like when I did the political compass test, I was literally in the goddamn middle of it. Like where the crosshair is, I was literally in the middle of the crosshair. I didn't even try to get there, but like just answering those questions, I managed to get right into the middle. So, you know, like being a centrist doesn't mean that you're a fence sitter and you don't care about politics or whatever. It just means that you have certain ideas from the left and you have certain ideas from the right. Like you just don't accept the whole package. Like on some stances you're left wing and on some stances you're right wing. That's what it means to be a centrist. Log cabin Republicans were a thing? I never heard about that. Atheists can be religious. I don't know. I mean, I guess there are some religions that don't have a deity. That's true. But like, I'm not one of them. Thunderfoot was a skeptic. No, he is a lefty. Now he is a lefty anti-mask troll. So the thing with Thunderfoot, well, and why is it called skepticism, right? It was because you had this idea that like, you need to believe all women. I think it started with feminism, yeah. So it was like, you need to believe all women. And some people were like, no, hold on a little bit. Like, women are people as well. Some tell the truth and some lie. Like, we should be skeptical. And that's how the term skeptic got coined. Because like, you're skeptical of their claims, right? You're skeptical of what the media is saying. You're skeptical of this and that. It doesn't mean that you don't believe it. It just means that, well, you want to analyze it for yourself first. And that's how the skeptics came into being. And it was a term that was labeled the same way social justice warrior was labeled. It was like pejorative. But some people just went with it, like Armored Skeptic. He just went with it. And I think like Sargon also went with it. Like, okay, you want to call me a skeptic? Like, how is being a skeptic a bad thing? Like, everyone should be skeptical of things in their life. Like, if you go buy a car, you're skeptical, right? Like, you don't believe whatever the car salesman is saying. If you buy a house, you're supposed to be skeptical. But for some reason, if you read the papers, you should drop all skepticism. You're skeptical of women? But you should be skeptical of anyone. Like, you should be skeptical of strangers. The opposite is unhealthy. Like, just believing everything that everyone tells you. That's unhealthy. Why would you do that? Can you imagine such a lifestyle? Jesus. You know, a person that's not skeptical, I think there's a word for it. It's called being gullible. Like, a person who's not skeptical and believes everything, that's a gullible person, chat. And that's not a good thing. As for Thunderfoot going after Elon Musk, he gets the views. I mean, look, if I were to make a video on a topic, let's say I want to make a video on, I don't know, Thunderfoot. Okay, let's say I make a video on Thunderfoot. And I get 100,000 views on that Thunderfoot video. I will be like, okay, well, let's make another video on him, right? And you make a second video and you get like 90,000 views. And then you're like, oh, well, holy shit, okay, like I'll make a third video on him. And you keep making. Now, you're not making the videos necessarily because you don't have anything else to talk about. You're making the videos because this is what the public wants, right? Because at the end of the day, that's what being a YouTuber is all about. It's like, giving what the fans want. I mean, you guys are the customers, basically. So I create entertainment, and you're the customers. Let's see what Thunderfoot is doing. Okay, so he's got 1 million subscribers. He's got the golden play button. I hope he cried like Mundane Man. See, if you cry over the golden play button, then I understand. Over the gold play button, you're allowed to cry. So, where does the Elon thing starts? Let's scroll down. I'm curious, like, when was his first Elon video? Like, that's what I want to see. Alright, so, this was 3 years ago. He was talking about Alex Jones. Alright. Mathematical model. He is now talking about the virus. I think this is the first Elon video, right? Or no, the Hyperloop. Alright. No. First Hyperloop. Okay, so he makes a video about the Hyperloop. He gets 550,000 views. I mean, that's how fucking loud. Look, compared to his other videos, where he's getting like 200, 100, 300. He made a video and he got 560,000 views. Translated into money, this is probably like $700, $800, I would say. Again, like it's difficult to appreciate, but it's probably around that area for one video. Okay? Now, he goes on, makes another one, 250,000. And then he makes another one, 343. So at this point, his viewers are telling him make more. This is what it means, right? Like when you look at this and you see the numbers, it's like, okay, well, make more. And look, like when he talks about other things, like he talks about prophecies and stuff, 100,000 views. Okay, so this means make less. SpaceX, busted, 363,000. Right? So, as you can see, this is why he keeps making videos about Elon, because people want to see this shit. Lumi busted. I don't know what Lumi is, but I have a feeling that he's going to talk about her more in the future. If there's content, right? Because that's another thing. Like, sometimes maybe you want to talk about it, but there's no content. So, like, what can you do? But with Elon Musk, I mean, there's always going to be content. There's always going to bust him. Like, there's going to be another Elon bust, and another bust, and another bust. Elon isn't even involved in Hyperloop. Tylerfoot can't disassociate a one-time involvement with all the other... It doesn't matter, right? I don't think like it really matters. Like what matters is putting out the video and making the money. I mean, he said it himself. You know, he's a scientist. He does this in order to fund some of his equipment. So it really depends. Like, do you treat it as a business or like do you want to be an ethical journalist type of? I mean, with Thunderfoot, like I don't look at him as a journalist, but more like an entertainer on YouTube. So, Thunderfoot didn't even debunk the Hyperloop. He's completely wrong. I mean, I haven't watched the videos. I don't know. But I did see, like, people on Reddit criticizing him. Like, there were other scientists that said he got the science wrong. Apparently, like, he compared one of the SpaceX rockets with the first rocket that was sent on the moon, and he made a false comparison, so because of that his math was wrong. I don't know. Like, look, I don't watch the videos, I can't tell. I know there's people criticizing Thunderfoot as well, but like what I do know is YouTube, and I do understand the analytics, and I do understand why he keeps making those videos. He keeps making those videos because it brings him money. Simple as. And not only that, but it's not just that it brings in money, it's that the viewers want to see that, right? So if the viewers want to see that, like, why wouldn't you give more? Like, at the end of the day, if you don't care about your viewers, why are you streaming? I mean, you can just talk between four walls. The walls make for a very good conversation as well. In which party is Tifa in? I don't know. We're going to talk about it at the end of the stream again because some people missed it. He's the YouTube scientist. Crowd is waiting for him to respond. I think, like, he almost got involved in it, but not really, because, like, he had other businesses in real life, so he didn't really end up getting caught in the drama. He is not really wrong about Hyper... You know, like, the thing is, that the reason that I'm not interested is because I literally don't give a shit about Hyperloop. I mean, if I was a stockholder and I invested money, yeah, then I would care. But, like, I just don't care about Hyperloop at all. Like, it's not my money. It's not my investment. I don't have any emotional attachment to it. The only one that I cared was the solar roadways because it sounded so stupid. Like, when I saw the solar roadways the first time, I was like, okay, this doesn't seem that advanced technologically. Like, why aren't other countries doing it? Like, why isn't even like a parking lot that uses the solar roadways? And I watched Thunderfoot videos and it explained very well my questions. Like, first of all, not only is it a bad idea to put them in the ground because they can break, or even if you have a glass on top of them, like a car can go over it and it can make it dirty and messy, and then it captures less sunlight. But also because when you have a solar panel, the purpose is to capture the most amount of sun. So like if it's on the ground, then it's going to be under shade for half day, because like the sun moves. Like let's say there's a building next to it, and the shade from the building is going to cover the panel for half a day, so it's not economical. Like you want the solar panels to be on roofs, you want them to be in the desert, you never want them to be just on the street. I think gyros and shawarma are near the same thing. Kebabs are not that great. You have Brazilian curcacho in Romania. So I don't have Brazilian curcacho, but let me show the chat. So shawarma is now a Romanian traditional food, I would say. You can find it on every single goddamn street corner. And it looks like this. Now, I think the difference between shawarma and gyros. So gyros is the Greek version, and shawarma is the Turkish version. The way Romanians make it is that we put in French fries. Like, this is an abomination, by the way. This is an abomination because it doesn't have any French fries in it. So the way we actually make it is we put French fries and we also put a lot of garlic. And the gyros is similar, but it's got like a different filling. Like it's got a different sauce. So I think that's literally the only difference. But other than that, yeah, they're pretty similar. And gyros can be made out of pork. Of course, I forgot about this, right? Because shawarma being from Turkey, they don't serve pork. So I guess they maintain this tradition even in Romania, because like at the end of the day, nothing's stopping you from making a pork shawarma if you want. But people don't do it just because it's not appropriate, I guess. It's not that it would even like spark violence or talks of cultural appropriation. That is actually quite interesting. Like that is something so fucking interesting. I think it's out of respect. Honestly, I think it's out of respect. Because there is no threat here. Like, the Muslim population in Romania is very small. They wouldn't be upset if you serve pork shawarma. And there would probably be a lot of people that would buy pork shawarma, because Romanians really like pork. But the reason we don't have pork shawarma, the only explanation that I have is that it's out of respect. Like, out of respect, because we took something from a culture that we like. So because we like shawarma and it's inappropriate for the Turks to eat pork, it's literally the only explanation that I can think of. Brexit stuff was cancer from Thunderfoot, probably. I mean, every single stance that the Brexiteers were concerned of, like the European Union starting an army, the European Union gaining more power from the member states, all of that became true. And not only that, like now the EU is talking about AI for chat. So if you have a chat, there should be an AI that monitors your chat. Even China doesn't do that shit. Like even China doesn't monitor the AI, doesn't use AI to monitor people's chat rooms. I mean, they do a lot of other stuff, but like that is something new. That is a European Union invention. I'll probably make a video about it tomorrow when I wake up. I'm sure that people put pork at home in shawarma. Probably not. I mean, I'm pretty sure like someone out there does it. But like, not really. I don't know. It's so bizarre. Like, you just made me ponder really hard right now. Because again, like, there is a demand for pork shawarma. Like, I'm willing to put money on this. That there are people, because there's a lot of people that order pork gyros. Right, so that's a Greek food, and then they, like, sometimes you have the shawarma right next to the gyros, and there are people who order pork gyros, like that exists, but they will never like make pork shawarma. Manpower is cheaper than AI power in China. Yeah, but like have you seen a Gargura stream? Like, have you seen the chat go whoosh? I mean, the chat there, I don't know how Gura even interacts with it, right? Even with Mr. Mediker, like, I don't know how that man interacts with the chat. The chat is going 10 miles a minute. and yet he manages to read it. But like, imagine like trying to moderate that. How would you do it? There is just so much text. Yeah, human beings are cheaper than AI, but like, dude. Yeah, gyros. Sorry, my bad. Gyros. You're hungry. I'm hungry too. The EU is on the way to form a standing army. That is something that they said it would never happen. Not only did they said it's something it would never happen, they also called it a conspiracy theory. My god, my nose is itching. They read random chat members. I mean, I guess, but like... Dude... The reason that I think monitoring the chat is useless, like what type of conspiracy theory is going to happen in an online chat that is so powerful that it poses a danger to society? Like, can you imagine, like, in Gargura's chat, there would be some people that are discussing something which would warrant the police getting involved? I mean, that is so fucked up, right? It's just overkill. Shawarma is everywhere. I personally like empanada, which reminds me of Russian pierogi. I never had Russian pierogi, neither did I have empanada. But yeah, shawarma is everywhere. It's very tasty, it's easy to cook. You can have it for a long time. I mean, if you cook it in the morning, it's still good in the night. You know, it's one of those types of foods that's also easy to eat. Like, you don't need a fork in order to eat it. So you can just eat it on the street. And probably that's why it's so popular, right? Because it's a very convenient type of food. And it's very filling. I mean, it literally has like every single ingredient of being the best fast food. So that's why it's so popular. Even the hamburgers that I see now, they're so big that you can't just walk and eat them because like the shit will drip all over you. But with a shawarma, like if it's wrapped up properly, you can eat from it and you're not going to get anything on you, and you can eat it on the street. Which, by the way, like, it's another cultural difference. Like, in Romania, you can eat stuff on the street just fine, right? So you take a shawarma and you can literally walk with it and eat it. Like, nobody's going to say a thing. But in Japan, that is considered insanely rude. Like, if you do that in Japan, you're going to have people give you the stink eye. Like, you're going to be ostracized. Like, I found it very bizarre, right? Because, like, you can have food in Japan, like, from a fast food joint, but you're not allowed to walk with it and eat it. I think, like, the reason is that you risk dropping some on the street and you can litter. So, like, it's probably that type of concern. It's like littering, right? Which does happen, by the way. Like, I have seen people eating a hamburger and dropping some sauce on the street. Yeah, I mean, it's so weird. Like, have street food, but you can't eat it on the street. Like, it's just bizarre. The spinalis cap of the ribeye or rib steak is the best cut of the steak. What is your steak choice? So, I don't know, like, the names of, like, steak cuts, but I really like New York strip and the filet mignon from Black Angus. Like, Black Angus is actually a really good steak. See, the thing with steak versus wine, I never understand people who drink wine and they will pay like $200 or $300 per bottle or even more than that, because I'm like, there's like no difference. Like, if I manage to take that wine and I put it in a glass and I give you $300 wine and $100 wine, you wouldn't be able to tell. Unless you take, like, specific courses or whatever. But if I do that with meat, like, if I take a $300 meat, like a steak of $300, you will be able to tell, oh my fucking god, this is exceptional meat. Like, where is it from? Like, how did you get it? Stop stealing fruit from innocent streets. Anyway, right, back to Tifa. Like, if you missed it, I talked about it in the beginning, but I'll talk about it in the end in case you just got here. So in the Italian parliament, during COVID, when they were live streaming events, they accidentally showed Tifa in a very peculiar position, like she was on the bed. sitting on her belly, and behind her was a man, and the man was thrusting, and Tifa was making moans. Now, this happens in the Italian parliament. And you have like all the ladies from the Italian parliament making the googly eyes and trying to turn that shit off, right? So now there's this there's this cosplayer which did the most accurate cosplay of Tifa in front of the Italian parliament that I have ever seen. And apparently she went in front of the Italian Senate. She had people thinking that she's a serious politician. And she found it embarrassing. But I mean, I'm looking at this and I'm like, holy shit. Like, that's Tifa, you know? Like, if Netflix would have casted her like this, they could make the wokest TV show and I would watch it. This is actually something that probably works against, like, woke propaganda. The fact that they reject beauty so much. Like, if they would embrace beautiful... Like, imagine this, right? Sometimes there is a movie that you don't like, but, like, the actress is so gorgeous that you want to watch it. It happens to me with anime as well. Like, I would see an anime that I'm kind of like, meh. But, like, some of the ladies are so ushikushi that you just want to watch for, you know, the characters. Let's put it like that. Anyway, right. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for the super chats. Really appreciate it. Sorry for the early stream. I'll try to stream at more reasonable hours now. And